The Bringing Learning to Life partnership is a unique grant opportunity among the Columbus Education Association and Columbus City Schools, the Ohio State University's College of Education and Human Ecology, and the National Education Association and its foundation.
Bringing Learning to Life is all about professional development for teachers so that they can learn how to enrich their practice through service learning. And service learning is a method of teaching that puts students of all ages in service to the community.
The roundtables are opportunities for us to demonstrate our students' learning and the ways in which teachers engage them inside of classrooms and communities, but to center our students in this work, to really think about what students are learning, how they're participating, and how they're taking up this work. I think those things are really crucial to having these roundtables.
Let me just say that it is a pleasure to be here and to welcome you here to our 2013 Spring Service-Learning Roundtable. And the purpose of this roundtable was to actually bring folks together to have conversations about what would it mean to really engage in some kind of innovative, critical, and creative service learning project and partnership. And so 2 years later, we're here, and we are celebrating almost the culmination of this entire 3-year grant project called Bringing Learning to Life. And so this project is a 3-year grant project. It's a partnership among Ohio State University's College of Education and Human Ecology, the Columbus Education Association, and Columbus City Schools, as well as the National Education Association and its foundation. And really, we came together to have conversations about the nature of service learning and civic engagement inside of our schools and communities here in Columbus. Some fundamental questions for me would include, how do we engage students in this work in critical ways? But not just in critical ways where we do it today and we're not doing it next week or next year or in 5 years, but understanding service learning and community engagement as central to how we do what we do when we work with students. And I think that has been sort of a driving force for many of us. When I think about this work, I also think about philanthropy. We had a student philanthropy event in October at the downtown high school where we recognized various community organizations, local nonprofits, for the work they do to the community, with the community, and for our students. We also had a service learning conference in conjunction with Capital Day, the Professional Development Day for Columbus City Schools. And I think that was a phenomenal collaboration. We brought together teachers and students and faculty members locally, but also nationally, to talk about service learning, and it was really well attended. And then just a few other events, being able to support public school students and going to national conferences and talking about what they're doing in their communities and in their schools. I think to date, we've had about 6 different national conferences that we have attended with students. And I think that's phenomenal because when we talk about education, when we talk about academic achievement, particularly for students attending schools in a district like Columbus City Schools, we need to really talk with students and not about students or on students or for them. And having our students as key players in this work is really, really meaningful for how we talk about sustainability. And I'm throwing that word out there because I'm hoping that this work will be sustainable and not just for the past 3 years, but moving forward as a district.
The roundtable is a way of bringing the townspeople, community organizations together with teachers who are teaching service learning and the students who are serving the community. And it's a way to dialogue, and also it's a way to bring in the institution of higher learning, which in this case is the Ohio State University.
What has ensued over the past 3 years has been nothing short of a miracle and a beautiful model of collaboration called Bringing Learning to Life. And this project, we feel, incorporates the strengths of every one of the organizations that's involved. And what has ensued has had tangible results. Over 70 pre-K through 12 teachers who received exquisitely taught professional development, thousands of Columbus City School students who are involved in local and global community change, and over 50 community organizations who are involved in this project, just like Audubon is involved. So it's been an incredible journey, and we hope that it will continue. And we are sowing the seeds so that the project can continue and more teachers can get involved in service learning.
So let's actually hear from some students. And we're going to start with a project that is named Making Space for the Voices of Artists Locally and Globally. And when I think about your project, I think about the ways in which you took my class last summer and we had conversations about how to extend this work into service learning. How to think about this work by making voices for students to take ownership of this work. And so I want to ask you and your students to come forward.
I'm going to talk to you about Kids Who Care, which is an organization that's helping a school in Zimbabwe. And it started in 2005 when Greg McCarthy, who's Tracy's son, met Gideon Leonardo, who's an African stone sculptor, and he helped us make a friendship with the Milana School, and we sent them over clothes and pencils, and we held an art auction, and we sold a lot of art pieces. From that, we made a gallery in our school to help other people locally and globally, and it's just a place for people to get back and trade fairly and giving back to people who need. The gallery, again, is basically a place where anybody can donate art pieces and things, and we'll sell them and we'll use the money to help people across the world. And so you can donate art pieces and you can tell other people about it, get them to spread the word as well, and we want lots of people to donate art pieces and the money will be used to help Africa.
We're working with the MONROE school now, but the focus is that as this work continues, we'll be working with other schools or other organizations. The MONROE school really started with the Milana School. We've moved to the MONROE school, and we hope to expand that as the project gets bigger than it already is.
The dedication and enthusiasm that the students have put in has been incredible. Just to see that real-world learning come right in the classroom has been very meaningful, and the use of the iPads to now do FaceTime with them, I think will bring it even more to home. So thank you very much.
As the work moves forward, there's a blog up and running at Kids Who Care, K8, at edublogs.org, so you can visit the work and give input on that, and that's the way that we want to start to reach out even more globally, and next year's work will head into the creation of a website as we continue to do work. The other thing with the ticket sales, the big piece is the reason that piece is being auctioned off is so through the raffle is the artist is donating half the proceeds of the sale of that piece back to MONROE School, and he donated his time to us because he's invested in the project, and this is a school in the bush where he and his 19 brothers and sisters all went to school. So it's a collaborative piece, and that's why the raffle's happening. And the kids they're sharing pieces to host a reception, which you are all invited to. And that's bringing the space of the artist's voice forward.
So we're actually presenting all of our students who are here tonight with certificates of appreciation. And the certificate reads that this award is being presented to the student in recognition of valuable contributions and outstanding service to our Bringing Learning to Life Research Roundtable on this Tuesday, the 9th of April, 2013. And on behalf of our project staff, we hope that you continue to learn. We hope you continue to participate and continue to provide leadership to your school and to your local community. So I want to actually thank you because I think it's really important to talk about education across the lifespan. And when we think about elementary age kids, we need to think about how they already have a voice and how we need to actually listen to that voice as they engage in this critical service learning project. So I want to present this to you and your students, and I want to say thank you for working with us.
I working in Pam Reed's classroom, and right now she's working on a project that is focusing on child labor here and abroad.
This group of students has been working with Diana Jones. She doesn't actually have her own classroom as the coordinator of parent and family engagement programs, but she has found a group of enthusiastic students who are working to raise awareness about human trafficking. And while they're doing their work locally, and they're doing student-to-student work, student-to-community work, student-to-adult work, while they have a local context, they are really also focused on the fact that there's global implications for the work they're doing here. So we're going to hear from them.
Started as an idea. I was talking to my mother about it, that it would be great to do something in the school system, and a topic that came to my heart was really human trafficking. And so I just began talking to her about it, and the idea sort of took off from there. And I talked to a lot of my friends within my high school about it, and they were very passionate about it, and I appreciated their support. And all of the wonderful people here today are also noticed as champions. We call them champions just because of their dedication and their hard work to making a difference. And it's hard to stand up for what you believe in, and it's really, really, really good to go out there and make the change, not just talk about it, but be about the change.
I'll be talking about technology, and research skills that help us get information about human trafficking that's accurate, that can help Columbus and the global community that we're in. And thanks to the skills that we're taught at school, it's really easier for us to accommodate that into our learning outside of school. So there's an example where at Fort Hays, there's the capstone where freshmen are starting, where they pick a topic of a major cause or something very important. And my sister, which Vanessa, she's part of the Story Behind the Eyes, she's researching the modern slave trade, which is human trafficking. And thanks to those skills that we learned from school and this learning program, we're able to put that together and get better ideas and research to bring this horrible topic to life.
Adding on to that, we also, Stories Behind Their Eyes is a big group on leadership skills and learning how to stand up and be who you are just so that you'll be able to stand up and say what you have to say, but also learning how to collaborate as a group.
It is interesting, a year ago at this time, I sat in the audience at Cause High School during their Ideas Festival, and there was a gentleman there from the Salvation Army who spoke about human trafficking. The Ideas Festival is about ideas, not to just sit, take in the information, and do nothing. It hit me. I had to do something once I heard his presentation. At that point, I'm like, I need money in order to do this. And on the website, there was Service-Learning connected with CEA, NEA, and Dr. Valerie Inlock. And I'm like, this is a light bulb. This is what I need. So I took her class and wrote the grant, and we have been able to fund through the generous provisions of the NEA our t-shirts, our I Am Aware wristbands, and not only have we taken action, we are actually presenting at the same Ideas Festival at 7:15 today.
You know, Ms. Darlene, you said what we do in communities alongside our students, with our students. And I think that's one of the beautiful parts of this work, when we see ourselves growing and we're growing with our students, because they ultimately are teaching us just as we are teaching them. So the reciprocal relationship has to be a part of service learning initiatives. So thank you, Ms. Jones, and Stories Behind Their Eyes crew. I appreciate it. And remember, shirts are $14, so you can support them if you want to. I'm going to go on to the third project. And just thinking about what the first group from INDIANOLA K-8 Informal said to us in terms of thinking globally, acting locally, and acting globally, and thinking about what Stories Behind Their Eyes just shared with us in terms of how do we actually do this work, even if we are not a teacher, even if we don't have our own classroom, but doing this work with other people, leads me to Megan. And Megan Evans and her students from MONROE Traditional Middle School. The interesting thing about Megan is that when Megan took my course about 2 years ago, she came to me and she said, I know I need to write a proposal, but I have like 10 projects that I want to do in service learning. And I just said, Megan, pick a course, pick a project. And Megan picked many projects. And so 2 of the projects Megan has completed is a community art service learning project, as well as a project titled I Can Empower Change. And I think the way that I would sort of summarize what I've learned from Megan and from the work that she's doing, it is about student voice and choice. It is about what Freire talks about in terms of being the word in the world, but it's really about centering students in this work. It is about acknowledging the brilliance of our students. And for me, that's what you have done for me in terms of how do we do this work with our students and doing it with art. So I want to welcome Megan and her students from MONROE.
My 8th graders teach art on Wednesdays and Thursdays to formerly homeless adults who have found permanent residence. And we are also, through the support of this grant, been able to do some work to help support Delmina in creating sculptures that are going to be auctioned off on May 4th, and to help support their residents and providing some functional pieces that my students have designed that are going to help the house that's being opened. But today, Kristen and Kamal have come to talk about another project, and it is called Merchant Stories. And Merchant Stories was part of 200 Columbus, and a grant that we received through the Bicentennial to do even more service learning.
This was a very big impact on me and my friends' school year. We got to communicate with people that we walk past every day in school and never said anything to, but now we was in class working together as a family for 3 years.
We talked about recycling, we talked about sustainable products in an outdoor environment. And so to get my students thinking that way and watching them take the idea and roll with it was like really invaluable to me. And an amazing experience watching them, the first couple days we had the conversation and I had to lead, and then I could step back, and in the design process they took over. And then to see those 50 students, first semester, hand their work off to a second 50 students, and allow those 50 students to take their creative process to the next level, and showing that collaboration has just been a really valuable experience for me, the work that I do.
I really don't know what else to say, except to thank the wonderful people who gave us the grant money, and thank the people who brought us here and allowed us to talk about this project, and we had so much fun doing it. It was a great project.
Before I give you your certificates, I have to say that I was sitting here and it's just something about young people, kids and young people, that we cannot overlook. And I was sitting there and I heard you say, we work together as a family. And then you talked about the impact of this project. You walk past students, your peers in the building. You never talked with them before. before, and this project allowed you to work with and talk with your peers. And I think those are things that are oftentimes understated when we talk about schooling, particularly in this country, and especially in urban settings, where how is it that we don't foster such relationships and partnerships and working with each other? And I think this project and the other projects that we've heard so far, and the final project we are about to hear from, are really, really unique examples of what can happen when we center our students in everything that we do. And I think this is amazing work. Coming from the voices of young people, working together as a family, that's beyond deep. So I present these certificates to you because you're brilliant. And I don't know how else to say it, but you're brilliant.
The partnerships really have come to the fore as seeing what can happen when we listen to students who spend a lot of time outside of the classroom, are interested in addressing issues in their communities. They're thinking about this after school, they're engaging in this work after school, and this has been a way to bring that work in the school, but to partner it with serious academic content, with literacy skills, writing skills, reading skills.
Their collaboration is with the Church of the Good Shepherd, and they have generated the Good Seeds Community Garden. So it is my absolute pleasure to introduce these three students. I'm just going to pass the mic to
my freshman class, which was 2009-2010. We built the raised beds from ground up. We planted all the flowers. We put the dirt into the raised beds. And it's just something that's really grown. And now that we're getting ready to leave, my freshman class, which we're now seniors, we worked together, but we really didn't figure into the program the disability part. We didn't understand that there are kids in our school and in our community that are in wheelchairs. They can't bend over and pick things up. So I think now that we're starting this campaign to raise more awareness of disability in our schools, something that is really terrific.
There's this running joke that we have. They're always trying to say they can make me cry. Great project. Started several years ago. Actually took an introductory course during Capital Day about service learning, and walked in and realized that I was actually doing some service learning in my class. And so I signed up to take a course with Dr. Kinlaw, and we've just taken off ever since. Chelsea was one of the original students. I had a group of students that actually came in over their summer break and helped write this grant. And one day we literally got a call from the church and asked for help to plant sunflowers. And 5 years later, here we are, and my students have presented at a NASB conference in Nashville, Tennessee, and we recently just got back from a service learning conference in Denver, Colorado, and it's just been an awesome learning experience. And I know that the kids say they've learned a lot, but they've taught me a lot. I have changed as an educator, and the one thing that I can say to anyone who is even considering service learning, I would say do it, because one of the videos that my students created, they did sound bites, and one of the things that I said in that video was that I have learned to trust their ideas, because their ideas are foundations for our tomorrows. And through that process, they have learned, they have grown. Chelsea actually is a 9th grader who sat in the back of my classroom, and if I didn't look up and physically see her, I would have never known she was there. And here she comes down, she's just got such a commanding presence. They all do, and I'm very proud of them. And I am thankful to NEA and OSU and anyone else that has been involved with us and given us this opportunity to be a part of this project.
Chelsea? Thank you.
I have some other service learning teachers who are here, and I'd like to at least acknowledge you. So after we leave here today, since we have people in the room who might be able to help us with that venture. I also want to just acknowledge St. Stephen's Community House really quickly, and Rebecca is here. So Rebecca, would you just kind of stand, wave, and acknowledge you? And there are many reasons why I want to acknowledge Rebecca in particular as a community partner. And I say Rebecca as a community partner in addition to St. Stephen's as being a community partner, because I do see you two join, but I also see you as a very, very strong community partner for a number of reasons. I met with Rebecca earlier today. We had an interview session. We talked about service learning, and that conversation led us, after an hour and 5 minutes, into talking about settlement houses, talking about education in local communities. And Rebecca said something to me today that just really struck a chord with me, and I want to share with you really quickly. During our interview session, Rebecca talked about the need to really think about who we are and to think about this work not as volunteerism, because it's not. This is not charity. This is not volunteer work. Rebecca used the word responsibility. And basically what I took from that conversation was that this is responsible work. This work creates responsible citizens. It creates responsible students. All of us are responsible for what we do, what we put into the world. When we think about service learning through a model of responsibility connected to learning and participation and social justice, we can do phenomenal work. And so I want to thank you, Rebecca, for that conversation and for that sort of regrounding of what I do, because you really helped me think about this work in critical ways. So I want to thank Rebecca one more time. Rebecca works with Shauna Streeter, and Shauna Streeter is a teacher at Hamilton STEM, and they've been working together for about 2 or 3 years now, and they have a really phenomenal service learning project that's intergenerational, where senior citizens from St. Stephen's Community House partner with elementary students, pre-K, elementary students at Hamilton. And they actually talk about what it means to be civic-oriented, what it means to think about who we are in relation to other people. Shauna's students actually go to St. Stephen's and have sessions there, and then they take that experience back into the classroom and engage in critical learning. I think that is phenomenal work. That's just one of yet many other examples of projects that I can talk about. Tracy Arway, who is here, is at Livingston, and Tracy, this is her 2nd year working with me. Tracy is doing phenomenal work with Children's Nationwide Hospital. Just creating blankets for buddies was last year. The work that our teachers are doing should be acknowledged and honored. And I want to make sure that we do a great job of doing that and recognizing them. Before I conclude, I'm going to ask all of our students just to come forward for one quick second with their teachers, so we can see these faces again, because these are our leaders, and we need to acknowledge all of them. So students, teachers, Karen, and can you believe when I say that this is not even a quarter of our students and our teachers who are doing this phenomenal work? And I think it is about time that we recognize everyone who's up here and who's not up here for the brilliance that they bring into at least my life, and the work that they teach me how to do better every day. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for the past 3 years. I hope that our work will continue. I look at the youngsters, that's so southern of me. I look at the young students who are out here, and I think, we can't do this work without them. And so if nothing else, let's actually center our students in everything we do. And that's what I'm going to leave you. Centering our students in this work, acknowledging our teachers, and it's beyond time that we stop beating our teachers up and really treat them like the responsible citizens that they are, because without our teachers, we would not be able to do this work. So thank you for coming, and please eat some more food, and thank you for being here.
Hi, I'm Tommy Ferguson, local project coordinator for Bringing Learning to Life. We'd like to thank you for watching our video on the roundtable tonight. If you need more information, contact Dr. Valerie Kinlock at kinlock.2@osu.edu. Thank you.